What's up, everybody? It's Justin in the 2-Part Garage. It's finally getting nicer outside, so we're back out here with the 5.0. Today, I'm going over something that honestly kind of sucks. Today, we're going over something. Alright, so now that we're in the car, if you know anybody that has a manual transmission Mustang, or you watch anybody on YouTube, TikTok, whatever, that has a manual transmission car, Toby, Derek, Gavin, just off the top of my head, you know already that these cars, this transmission specifically, has so many problems, it's just not even funny. I don't actually think that it's the MT82 that's bad. It's the sub-assemblies around it that I think are really, really bad. For starters, you have this shifter here. This is a body-mounted shifter. On a traditional manual transmission, the shifter itself is mounted directly to the transmission. This is not. This is mounted to the body. So when you're at higher PMs, or when you're doing from a dig, even from a roll, I think, or you're just having a little bit of spirited driving, you can literally feel the shifter pulling away from you and not wanting you to go into the gear you want to go into because the body is flexing away from the transmission. And so number two, and this is not really known all that well by some people that are looking into buying these cars, and I'm making this video so that if you are looking into buying it, you know exactly what you're getting into, because I myself didn't know what I was getting into. From the factory, Ford uses a plastic clutch line, and if you've worked with ABS or plastic before, you know that under high heat situations, the common plastic will start to bend and twist and stretch, right? And so if your clutch fluid only has to go this far when you're cold, your transmission is going to feel just fine. But when you start to get a little bit warmer, this is the distance now that it has to go, because that clutch line keeps twisting and bending. And so your clutch pedal itself is going to feel weird, and you're going to hate it. The bite point's going to be different. It'll be soft. It'll be hard. And that's not necessarily a difficult fix. It's just really annoying if you just want to buy a car, get in it, and take off, instead of having to band-aid the poor choices that Ford made from the factory. And so number three, and this is another thing that a lot of people don't really understand either, is that these cars from the factory, the clutches were rated for like 300-something horsepower, 350 pound-feet of torque, and obviously these Coyotes are making more power than that. I mean, even if it's just at the crank, it doesn't really matter. You're making almost 100 horsepower more than what the clutch is rated for. Not to mention the torque numbers are significantly higher than what the clutches are rated for, and that just spells bad news for you. And you'll run into issues with the stock clutch where when you really get up into that power band, the clutch does not like it, okay? So you're going to be first, second, and you're blasting through gears, and you get to third and you get to fourth, and all of a sudden, oh, my transmission won't go into gear, and now you're sitting at 7,000 RPM, and you thought you shifted, so you let off the clutch pedal, and you're just banging it off the limiter, right? Another issue that Ford still hasn't fixed, because as far as I know, they're still using the exact same clutches from 2011, just with a couple updated things. They might be rated for a little bit more horsepower, but as far as I know, they're nearly identical. So we're in the car now, and I just wanted to kind of go over, again, summarize it. The three things that you will need to fix if you're thinking about buying one of these cars is, and also just try to make sure, just to see, the previous owner might have tried to, replace some stuff. So just ask around. So you're going to need to look at your shifter. You're going to need to look at the getting a braided stainless steel clutch line, either from SR or McLeod. Either way, I have a McLeod at the house right now. Just haven't put it in yet. And the clutch, now the clutch really isn't necessarily that big of an issue, especially if you're staying NA. And I know that's very counteractive to what I said. But when you get a new shifter and you get a new clutch line, you can still ride out that clutch for a very long time. You're not going to experience that lockout with, say, an MGW or a Barton 3-post hybrid. And also with that upgraded clutch line, you're not going to have the same issues as just staying on a stock shifter and a stock clutch line. Those really inhibit the transmission. And so if you're thinking about picking up one of these cars, I highly, highly recommend looking into that stuff. With that being said, guys, next video I'll be installing the McLeod stainless steel clutch line, so hopefully you guys are around for that. And I also wanted to say thank you guys very much. We just recently surpassed 500 subscribers. Never really thought that I would even have 500. I know it's not a million, it's not 100,000, it's not even 1,000 just yet, but I'll get there eventually, and hopefully be able to keep cranking out decent content for you guys.